All right, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
It's great to see so many smiling faces here today. All right, now before we go any further, I do have to ask that you please turn off your electronic devices or at least put them on vibrate. And if anybody would like to ring the Christabel this morning, for those of you who have never been here, we do actually have a real bell for the Christabel Church. So if anybody wants to go ahead and ring it, and I see Kathy coming up to do it, so if anybody else wants to. There you go. It's just kind of a fun tradition that we have here to start the services. All right, thank you, Kathy. It's just another fun way to also to raise the vibration of the chapel, to get people feeling a little more excited to be here. Now, before we move into the more formal portions of our church service today, we do have quite a few announcements to talk about, and I will get to those right now. And I am very excited about this first one. We are having a rummage sale on June 4th, 5th, and 6th. And we are still accepting donations, so if anybody is interested, they can drop something off on a Sunday, or if they won't be available on Sunday, they can get in touch with me, and I will make sure somebody is here during the week to help facilitate that. We do also need some volunteers for that day still, so if anybody is interested to help out on the 4th, 5th, and 6th of June, we would greatly appreciate that. Our next church board meeting is also scheduled for June 6th, so it's going to be a busy weekend. If any of you congregation members, if anyone from the church would like to attend the board meetings, they are open to church members, and we do welcome any input that anyone in the church has in order to help us to move forward, to help us to grow. Our next Wednesday evening spirit greeting service. Now, for those of you who are not aware, during our regular Sunday services, each medium at the platform, which at the moment is me, each medium at the platform gives between 3 and 5 messages. And then on the Wednesday evening spirit greetings, it is a special church service devoted just to communicating with spirit. So if you want to think of it as being kind of like a gallery reading, we stand up here and make sure that everyone receives a reading. So because of that, we do limit it to 20 people, and we ask for a $20 per person donation for that. And it actually fills up pretty quickly, so you might want to sign up early. You can do that through Facebook or through contacting me directly. Let's see, what else do we have to talk about here? Any pastoral students who would like to serve the platform today, or not today necessarily, but any day, please see me after church, or you can find me on Facebook. We are always also welcoming volunteers to help out on Sundays to usher, to do check-in as Barb was doing. We will help to train you on that. We won't just throw you to it. And we will also help you to understand the etiquette that is involved in doing that. If you are interested, please feel free to see me today. For anyone who would rather provide their offering online rather than in cash, we do have on our church Facebook page, our church's website, as well as our church's YouTube channel. We do have a PayPal link for anyone who is interested in providing an offering online. I know we are all going more digital these days. And finally, I am looking to start a development circle coming up probably the last week of June, but I just have to double check my timing on that. So my ultimate intention for anyone, just so that you are aware, is to actually have students working the platform and doing platform mediumship and giving readings at the end of Sunday services and on Wednesday evenings. But if you're not interested in doing that, that's fine. You can still attend. I'm not gonna do any kind of push to make you up here if you're not comfortable. And now, if you could, oh, pardon me, my camera's a little weird here, so I'm just gonna do a quick. It's been kind of an off day, and Spirit's already warned me that this was gonna be a unique day. If you could please bow your heads for the invocation, we will officially begin our church service today. Infinite intelligence, open our eyes to the beauty of the world, to the wonders and mystery of creation. to your presence and to your power. Open our hearts to the love of others for their goodness and their grace, to the great love that is for everyone. Amen. And now, if you could please turn your hymnals to the front inside cover, we will be reading aloud our Spiritualist Declaration of Principles. We believe in infinite intelligence. We believe that the phenomena of nature, both physical and spiritual, are the expression of infinite intelligence. We affirm that a correct understanding of such expression and living in accordance therewith constitute true religion. We affirm that the existence and personal identity of the individual continue after the change called death. We affirm that communication with the so-called dead is a fact scientifically proven by the phenomena of spiritualism. We believe that the highest morality is contained in the Golden Rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. We affirm the moral responsibility of the individual and that we make our own happiness or unhappiness as we obey or disobey nature's physical and spiritual laws. We affirm that the doorway to reformation is never closed against any soul here or hereafter. We affirm that the precepts of prophecy and healing are divine attributes proven through mediumship. And we do that every week, joyfully. All right, and now we will begin the healing portion of our church service today. At this time, I will be reading from the list of absent friends who are in need of healing. After I finish reading from the healing list, feel free to say the name of anyone that you feel, who is not present, that you feel is in need of extra healing. Julie, Ruth, Hank, Sherry, Earl, Jennifer, Ryan, CJ, Sarah, Raul, Karen, Donna, Deb, Joe, James Bond, Fang, Jake, Rebecca, Harrison, Ash, Alan, Delilah, Samantha and family, and Debbie. If anyone has any names that they would like to add.
Jerry and Gary.
Anyone else? Okay. Oops. At this time, if you could please turn your hymnals to hymn number 6. We will be singing Hand in Hand with Angels. if you could, please turn to the back inside cover of your hymnals. It's the one-stop shopping for spiritualism right here. We will be reciting aloud our prayer for spiritual healing in order to conclude our healing service. I ask the great unseen healing force to remove all obstructions from my mind and body and to restore me to perfect health. I ask this in all sincerity and honesty, and I will do my part. I ask this great unseen healing force to help both present and absent ones who are in need of help, and to restore them to perfect health. I put my trust in the love and power of God. Amen. All right, thank you, everybody. Okay, before I begin my sermon for the day, I just have to pause for just a second and look out at everybody out here. It's so great to see so many, what I'm going to call old friends and new ones to the church. So I just want you to know how much I appreciate seeing you all here today. It does my heart good. Okay, your sermon for today will be presented by yours truly, your student, Pastor Mark Dorsett. And before I truly begin my sermon today, I do want to give a very special thank you to Mr. Nelson Mandela for his inspiration and invaluable assistance in helping to guide my sermon direction today. It was truly an honor to have him work with me on this sermon. It really was. I have a feeling for many of you sitting out there that when you hear the phrase, let it go, you're going to find your thoughts going almost immediately to that Disney movie. Am I right? Now, I'm sure that when you think about that, when you hear that phrase, let it go, you hear the Disney movie in your mind, and then suddenly your eye goes, and you start to eye roll because, one, I mean, really, what does that even mean? What does let it go even really mean? But also, it's been 7.5 years since that movie came out, and we still cannot escape that song. So I'm sure that for at least a few of you, though, that phrase is going to bring back, or at least for me personally, it brings back memories of Little League, where you get a hit and you're taught to just let it go, let the bat go. Or maybe that time when you were baking and your hot mitt had a hole in it, and that cake that you were baking, just you pick it up and suddenly you drop it back onto the rack because, ow. Or how about bowling? Do we have anybody out here who's been bowling before? Okay. Audience participation. How many of you out there have ever lofted a ball down the lane only to have somebody yelling at you to just let go a little earlier? Oops. We've all been there, I'm sure. So, as it's spoken about just a moment ago with that phrase, let it go, or maybe let go, it can be a bit confusing to know exactly what is meant by that. I mean, after all, every well-meaning person out there who really doesn't know what to say when they see someone who is hurting will say something to the effect of, well, just let go, let it go. And while I do completely understand those well-meaning people who might say that, I also understand that living that advice can be just a bit easier said than done. So today, that is what we are going to be talking about. Just what we mean when we say, let it go, but also how to actually do so in a healthy manner. To let go does not necessarily mean that you stop caring. What it means is that you understand that you cannot do it for someone else. So what is the it that I'm referring to? Anything that is really truly not yours to try and control. It can stand for anything that someone else needs to take care of for themselves. We may be well-meaning, and we may try and do something that another person really doesn't want to do for themselves. But in that instance, are we truly helping them, or are we just enabling them? Just something to ponder for a minute as we continue. To let go is not to cut yourself off. It means that you cannot control another. And I know that that's going to be kind of a challenging statement for some of you out there, and I know it is for me at times. To let go is not to enable, but to allow learning from natural consequences. To let go is to admit powerlessness, which means that the outcome is not in your hands. And to me, that is an amazing and empowering thought. No, really, it is. Just hear me out. I see the stares out there. You might think that you control what happens in your life, but the truth be told, that term free will that we are all familiar with is actually used to express how you react to what happens in your life, not that you control your life. There is a big difference there. And this is actually also very true for others in your lives. By allowing them to make their own decisions and to learn from the consequences of those decisions, you are helping them to not only learn from natural law, but to follow it as well. Once a person learns how to work within nature's laws, life honestly suddenly becomes much easier and goes much, much more smoothly. And that is not me asking you to take it on faith, that is the voice of experience. To let go is not to try to change or blame another. I can only change myself. And I can hear a few of your thoughts out there right now. Oh, wait. Are you sure that that's how that goes? Yes, I am. The author Michael Crichton actually coined a phrase that is really a perfect fit. Guess I'll be fixing that in a minute. The author Michael Crichton used a phrase that is actually a perfect fit for what we are referring to right now. Fix the problem, not the blame. That is actually such an incredible thought. How many times have you been afraid of making a mistake? Not just for the mistake, as much for the blame that would be heaped upon you for the actual error that you made. I'm sure that's something that we can all relate to. And by the same token, this is an uncomfortable question, but how often have you been concerned with fixing the blame rather than the problem? And I'm pretty sure that that is something that everyone can relate to. It's actually a concept that is talked about in spiritualism as well. Think back to principle number 7 for just a moment, what we just read a minute ago. We affirm the moral responsibility of individuals and that we make our own happiness or unhappiness as we obey or disobey nature's physical and spiritual laws. Did anyone else notice in that principle, nowhere does it state that you are supposed to judge another for the errors that they make? It's almost like principle number 6 has us covered there, doesn't it? Sort of sounds like that. Number 6 is we believe that the highest morality is contained in the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And I do think that is a very important one. And more than doing unto others as you would have them do unto you, I feel it's more about treating each other with respect, because everybody does want to be treated a little differently. To let go is not to care for, but to care about. To let go is not to fix, but to be supportive. How often have you wanted to care for the people close to you and try to fix whatever you might see as a problem in their lives? I'm guessing pretty often, because I know this is a hard lesson for me. How many times have you worked to fix a situation on a person's behalf, only to find that you are watching horrified as they wade right back into that same situation, or one that's even worse? I'm sure we can relate to that. How many of you, just out of curiosity, thank you, Spirit, you're having fun with me today. So how many of you out there, just out of curiosity, a show of hands, have worked on a situation on someone's behalf only to find that they've gone into the same one or a worse one after that? Yeah, I kind of had a feeling most of you out there can relate to that. And that is a difficult lesson for us to learn as well. You can care about another person without trying to fix everything for them. You are doing them a disservice if you try and take care of their problem with no real effort on their part. It is much healthier for all concerned to focus on being supportive and providing assistance when they need it, not only will they learn more, but you will be amazed at what a self-esteem booster it happens to be for that person to see just how unlimited they truly are. To let go is not to judge, but to allow another to be a human being. Wait, let's not get too crazy here. I mean, if you don't judge someone, then how do you measure yourself against them? By height? No, just kidding. No, you really don't measure yourself against anyone else. The correct answer, you don't. We are all on our own paths in life. We may all have the same destination, but there are an infinite number of ways to reach it. Let everyone else be who they are and not force them into trying to be someone that they are not. It is a divine truth that we are all beautiful sunflowers who come in all shapes, sizes, and colors. Some of us are a bit more monochromatic than others, and others are a beautiful rainbow of color. Not just physically, but also emotionally and spiritually as well. That is just fine that we are all different because we are all still beautiful sunflowers after all. We all reach toward the light of the same sun. To let go is not to be in the middle arranging outcomes, but to allow others to affect their own outcomes. There's a fine line between helping and meddling. Helping means that you are providing assistance. You are there to be supportive and to help gently guide someone when you see an opening that they may not see for themselves. Point it out, let them decide if that is a direction they wish to take. That does not mean that you are looking to play the puppet master with the intention of pulling the strings to artificially orchestrate an outcome. Meddling is never good. To be honest, every time I hear that particular phrase, every time I hear someone say meddle or meddling, my mind goes to, do not meddle in the affairs of dragons, for you are crunchy and go good with ketchup. In other words, meddling never leads to anything productive. Unless, of course, you are a hungry dragon, and then, it's great. But to let go is not to be protective. It is to permit another to face reality. And this one can be exceptionally difficult if you are a parent in particular. As much as you might want to shield your child from life's slings and arrows, you really are not doing something to their benefit if they never learn how to stand strong when rough winds do shake the darling buds of May. You're really not. Again, it is one thing to be supportive when you care about someone and, when they're facing adversity in particular, but it is another thing entirely to never allow them to face life's challenges. What will happen to your little acorn when they grow up to be an oak tree that has never had to develop those deep root systems that adversity can bring? At the first sign of a storm, they will topple over. To let go is not to deny, but to accept. Accept that not only are you on a path of learning and growth, but so are those around you. Do not allow yourself to deny your own challenges or the challenges of those around you. When you are going through something difficult in your life, do not deny it. Remember that denial, it's not just a river in Egypt. It's a means towards keeping yourself stuck. Nobody wants to be stuck on a sandbar in denial. Let yourself float downstream towards acceptance. I do think you will find that not only is the view much better, but the weather is much calmer there as well. Accept the fact that nobody is perfect. Not even you, or especially me. I can tell you right now, I am far from perfect. After all, if you think about it, when you put someone on a pedestal, there is really only one direction to go from up there, And it's never good for anyone. It never ends well at all for anyone in that case. To let go is not to nag, to scold, or to argue, but to search out your own shortcomings and correct them. Oh, I hear some of those thoughts out there right now. How am I supposed to let my friends and family know that I care about them if I'm not gently bullying them? By being supportive of their decisions, which I know cannot be easy all the time. By living your life and letting them come to you before you offer them advice or try to guide them in a different direction. Once you've given them your 2 cents worth of advice, it is up to them to take that advice or not, and for you to just step back and let them live their lives. And honestly, I know that it is easier said than done. Especially when those of you out there who have young parents, have young children, I apologize. That situation is a little bit different, but you must understand that your children, they are also people. They have their own thoughts, their own ideas, their own feelings about things. It is up to us to do our best not to react to their behaviors, but to try and calmly correct when something they are doing is not appropriate for their life path. Or, if you'd rather word it this way, help guide them to more socially appropriate behaviors. To let go is not to adjust everything to your desires, but to take each day as it comes and to cherish the moment. When I say that, I am not suggesting that you cannot make plans. Of course you can. Plans are fun. What I am suggesting is that while you may have those plans in mind, understand that Spirit may have a bigger plan in mind for you. Every day, and sometimes every moment, Spirit guides us. Take just a moment in the morning, reach out to your spirit and to Spirit guides. And when I say reach out to your spirit, I mean your spirit part of yourself. We are all part of that triune, a body, a soul, and a spirit. But you can also connect with your guides each morning. Just sit down, take a few deep breaths, close your eyes, and literally ask your guides, hey, what do I need to know about today? Or what I always say is, what mood, what vibration do I need to have today to help me make this day go as smoothly as possible? And for me this morning, I expect that this day will not go as planned. And so far, that has been a very accurate statement, as I'm sure you have heard from our speakers. But when you do this, it is so important that you sit down and you spend just a moment each day in silence with Spirit. And what you will find is not only will it help you to feel more connected, but it will help you to live more in the moment as you go about your day. When you are living in the moment, you will see and feel so many more wonderful things than when you are lost in the future. The moment you are in is called the present for a reason. It is a gift for each and every one of us, and I truly believe that. The more that you can be present in the moment, the more joy, the more wonder, the more beauty that you can find. I really love how many of you out there on social media are starting to actually take that advice to heart, because on social media, especially on Facebook and Instagram and all those different social networking sites, I am seeing more people who are taking pictures of nature or pictures of spontaneous life happening, as opposed to those posed squinty duck face pictures. We're seeing a lot fewer of those, but a lot more fun, spontaneous ones. And that's living in the moment. To let go is not to criticize or regulate anyone, but to try to become what you dream that you can be. To let go is not to regret the past, but to grow and live for the future. It can be so easy to look at someone and criticize them for how they look, they dress, they smell, they carry themselves. The list is endless. To judge another person is really just a different way of comparing ourselves to them. And that is, quite honestly, a path towards unhappiness. No matter how you measure up with someone in your mind, There will always be someone else for whom you fall short. Do not judge yourself against another person. Judge yourself on how far you have come. Enjoy that moment. You will be a lot happier and more productive if you do so. And I'm going to step off a little further off script for just a second. And I just want to remind everybody, look at, even during the pandemic, look at where you were a year ago and to where you are today. And I'm not talking specifically about physical world issues. Maybe you're not doing quite as well financially as you'd like to, but look at where you are emotionally. Look at where you are spiritually. Everyone in this congregation right now, everybody that I am seeing, you've all grown as people because of this challenging situation. Growth isn't always easy, but it is something that is a constant in the universe. And you've all taken those potential stumbling blocks and turned them into stepping stones. So it might sound a little odd that I'm going to say this, but I am proud of each and every one of you for the growth, the learning that you have all accomplished in your lives. And I'm asking you to hold a mirror to yourself and look at objectively just how far you've really come. I think you'll be happily surprised. Finally, to let go is to fear less and love more. When you learn to let go of everything that we've spoken about here today, you will learn to let go of your fears. Let go of those illusions that are betraying you. Betraying you by trying to make you feel that you are completely separate from everyone else. As I've spoken about previously in other sermons, we are not alone. We are all traveling towards the same destination at our own pace and in our own time. But there is no need to hurry. We will get there eventually. And when we do, we will be greeted with open arms, each and every one of us. As you go forth this week, please remember that there is great power in letting go. Letting go of that need for control, the need to subjugate, that need to hold dominion over another person. Only by embracing the differences within each of us and by accepting the light of joy, love, understanding, and truth can we truly be happy. Wishing you all a wonderful week ahead filled with letting go in the most joyful ways possible. Thank you. At this time, I do ask for our ushers to come forward for the collection of our offering. And if we could, please bow our heads in prayer. Infinite Spirit, we give thanks for these gifts so generously given. Without these gifts, we cannot grow. We ask a blessing for what is shared with us today and a special blessing for the givers. May they continue seeing the law of abundance in their lives. We dedicate these gifts to the future of our church and to spiritualism. Amen. Got ahead of myself. All right. And at this time, we will be beginning the spirit greeting portion of our church service for today. And in order to do that, we ask that everyone please stand for our hymn. And the reason that we do that is the reason that we have you stand before our message service for our hymn, which will be it will be number 153, Beautiful Beckoning Hands. But the reason that I ask that is because it helps to raise the vibration of everyone in the chapel, and it helps to really bring in Spirit. Spirit is very much here with us today. But as you could tell by some of the things going on, Spirit also has a sense of humor. So at this time, we will be singing hymn number 153, and we will see if we have any more technical difficulties associated with that. And Glenn, I'd appreciate it if you stopped messing with that. Beckoning hands at the gateway tonight, faces are shining with radiant light, eyes looking down from the heavenly home, beautiful hands they are beckoning home, beautiful hands, beckoning hands, calling the dear ones to heavenly lands. Beautiful hands, beckoning hands, beautiful, beautiful, beckoning hands. Beckoning hands of a mother whose love sacrificed life its devotion to prove. Hands of a father to memory dear, blessing beautiful hands, beckoning hands, calling the dear ones to heavenly lands. Beautiful hands, beckoning hands, beautiful, beautiful, beckoning hands. Beckoning hands of a husband or wife, watching and waiting the loved one of life. Hands of a brother, a sister, a friend, out from the gateway tonight they extend. Beautiful hands. Whoop. Okay, here we go again. I'm sitting here and Glenn just said, okay. I apologize for that. I'm not even going to try again. So if you would like to please sit down, I do appreciate hearing all of you singing. He does like to tease me when I'm up here because, unfortunately, I have a more casual style than he would appreciate. So he does like to play with me a bit. And especially when Deb is not here doing the music, he will give me a hard time. And it's all meant with love. It really is. For those of you who are unaware of who Glenn is, I just realized Glenn was... he was a member of the church and part of the pastoral committee before I started attending here. And he had passed away right around the time that I started working the platform. And he likes to come back and heckle me. And it's just great fun for him. And so we will move on from there. And sorry, I've got a whole conversation going. Now, when it comes to our spirit greetings, I am our only platform worker, so what I will be doing is, as per NSAC guidelines, I will be giving between 3 and 5 messages until the Spirit tells me that it is time to finish. For those of you who may not receive a message today but would like one, we do have our Wednesday evening Spirit greetings, which is the second Wednesday of the month at 6:30 p.m. Our next one is, I believe it was June 9th. So, if anybody is interested, there is asking for a $20 offering for that, but those are a lot of fun, and you'd be amazed at just how, I don't want to say how intense, but just how meaningful those readings really get. So without further ado, I will be randomly choosing people from the congregation, whoever Spirit guides me to, and when I do so, if you are interested in receiving a reading, I ask that you please stand and tell me your name, and that's more for me because unfortunately I am terrible with names, so I do apologize. If you are not interested in receiving a reading today, I ask that you remain seated and just tell me no thank you, and I will move on to someone else. So let's see, who do I get to go to first? Okay, apparently that does conclude our spirit greetings for today. But as I said, we do have our Wednesday evening spirit greetings. Also, every week we do this, and as soon as I'm able to get some more student mediums up on the platform, as soon as we can get some more student mediums, more MPI students, more Pratt students up here, there will be more people giving readings. But in the meantime, we will conclude our service for today with, first I will be playing our hymn number 11, In the Sunlight of Today. If you could please turn to number 11 in your hymnals, and we will sing that together, and hopefully it will continue through the whole song. Looks like everyone is ready. Let us march and never weary, never falter on our way. Let us make the world more cheery in the sunlight of today. In the sunlight of today. In the sunlight of today. Let us make the world more cheery in the sunlight of today. Let us grasp the hand that smites us and no anger heart at bay. Wronging others never rights us in the sunlight of today. In the sunlight of today. In the sunlight of today. Let us make the world more cheery in the sunlight of today. Let us bear each other's sorrows and give sympathy full sway. Looking for brighter tomorrows in the sunlight of today. In the sunlight of today. In the sunlight of today. Let us make the world more cheery in the sunlight of today. Please bow your heads for our closing benediction. We close this service with the deepest gratitude for this day. We ask a blessing on all who have taken time to join us today. May we be ever learning, ever moving forward beyond the errors of the past, and knowing we have an endless supply of new beginnings. Amen. This concludes our Christabel Spiritualist Church service for today. Thank you all, and have a wonderful week ahead. And before I forget, and I always feel so disingenuous when I say this, but because we do have student mediums here at the chapel, if any of the messages that you received during our spirit greeting service resonated with you in a personal way, if you could please fill out a mediumship affidavit at the back of the chapel on the table. Our student mediums do appreciate that. It helps us to become certified with the National Spiritualist Association of Churches. Commercial over. If you'd like to hang around for a few minutes and chat, feel free, no pressure. If you'd like to go about your week, I wish you all a wonderful week ahead. Thank you.